Good evening, November Foxtrot, and welcome to an exciting episode of episode 225, Plastic BBs and Real History, the evolution of Airsoft. So,
and we have a guest.
Yeah.
We have a guest.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, Lance.
How we doing?
It's been a minute.
Oh, fucking tell me about it, man. Very busy, very busy. Still busy. Always busy.
As is life, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me about it. How is everybody?
Times are tough, but keep smiling.
Absolutely, mate. Chin up. Stiff upper lip.
I got a shotgun.
Good.
So,
What?
yeah.
Don't put your hands too close to it, Andy. We don't want to trigger anything.
Yeah.
That one there.
A shot pew.
Say nothing. Say nothing. A scatter
Tell us all
thing.
about it.
It's a MA70 tri-shot shotgun. So I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it a little bit for CQB. Then I'm probably going to get bored of it, and then I'm going to turn it into a HPA sniper rifle because I want to stand at one end of the field and snipe someone with a with a shotgun because I feel that is the ultimate insult of life.
Still as a tri-shot.
No.
Oh, please make a tri-shot sniper rifle.
Well, yeah, but then you can't have it over the 1.13 joules, can you? So it can't be sniper.
Why not?
Because it's tri-shot.
Single
so
shot only.
So it's
Technically, you are doing a single shot, though. A single trigger pull. Just because 3 BBs come out of it, that's not really your fault.
Three, yeah.
Well, it is a bit.
You know. I can't decide.
I would like to point out, and I don't have a quote, unfortunately, to hand, but I think maybe about 10 or so episodes ago, there was literally a quote from Andy saying, if you need more than one BB to kill someone, then you're doing Airsoft wrong.
That's what I want to.
Andy, who floods the field with LMG BBs.
Yeah. But that's one shot at a time. I do want to change it to one shot because I hate tri-shots. They're just a pain. So I might just cut all the barrels up.
Awesome.
Just have it as a single.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
I thought he was going to explode.
How short could you reckon you could make a tri-shot? Like, do you reckon you could turn it into a tri-shot pistol?
You can saw the end off.
I think there is some. I think there are some tri-shot pistols out there.
Because you get the double barrel pistols, don't you? Side
by side, you can trim it down, but it's not a pump action, is it? You've got to allow the action, the pump. Must have the pump.
Yeah, but you could make your pump like minuscule.
There's some of us used to dealing with a smaller hand action.
Yeah,
miniature pump.
Hi, Landnav Challenge. Hi, Pegasus. Welcome to the chat. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch at the moment. We'll wait and see if that dies off at any point throughout the show.
Yeah, because weapons.
Yeah. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the evolution of Airsoft. In short, basically, we're going to briefly talk about the history of Airsoft and then discuss sort of the last 15 years, really, sort of where we've seen Airsoft come from, the three of our experiences on that front, kind of rolling forward to probably the start of the podcast and sort of how that's influenced things and everything like that, and then kind of up till current day, basically. And then maybe if we've got time at the end, I guess might be an opportunity to talk about the future, what might happen in the next sort of 10, 15 years, perhaps again.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Changes all the time.
Come on then, Andy. You've done some research and you've determined you are basically the history expert now on the show. So Lance and I will sit and listening.
You are the games master. I'm going to go and carry on packing for the recce course at the weekend. And you just crack on.
I feel like I should be in like a big leather chair and like a big home
in leather trousers.
Okay, children, welcome to the history lesson with Andy Bob.
With Bob.
Oh no, Dr. Bob. It'll be Dr. Bob.
Dr. Bob. Yeah, I'm not sure how that sounds. I should have got a book, shouldn't I?
Dr. Robert.
I don't. You know what? I don't actually own many books.
I have many books.
That doesn't surprise me, Andy. That also doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. That's quite a sad thought all of a sudden. I'm just looking around and like, I don't actually own anything.
I have a book here on mushrooms. which is relevant to airsoft and on hedgerows.
I could, but I could probably find those books on my phone.
It's not the point. It's a hardback. And it has pictures, which is beneficial for you, Andy, as well.
Oh,
many pictures.
Where's Wally? Where's Wally is a good book. That is well worth a good read.
It's a tough read, though, isn't it?
It's a tough read.
Don't really know what happens at the end either. You sort of finish the book and you're still quite lost.
My daughter's got a Where's Wally book, and I swear one of the pages is just a load of Where's Wallies, and it's like try to spot the Where's Wally, or try to spot the Wally without the glasses on, and you're like, what? This is a nightmare.
This is a printed headache.
Yeah. All they've made is kindling, as far as I'm concerned.
Kindling of the woods.
So in an apocalypse, that will be one book that you don't save then.
Oh, you save it, just use it for kindling.
Yes. Or toilet paper, then kindling, so you make some sort of like longer burning fire log thing.
You definitely wouldn't want to save it for like future generations and be like holding it aloft to an audience of thousands going, this is what the people of 2025 used to look like. Wandering around with their striped jumpers.
Bobble hats.
Yeah. And everyone wore glasses. I feel like
Terry G says, who's the new guy?
Who is this guy? Gee whizzer.
I feel like that should be our next like milsim loadout.
The new guy.
Where's Wally?
Where's Wally?
Just dress up as Where's
Wally.
Wally.
You've got to go dress as the new guy. Yeah. As mimes. Oh, mimes would be quite good.
Yeah, mimes would be quite good.
Oh, you wouldn't have to talk to the enemy. That was we were talking about urban recon the last week or the week before last.
Yes, very good.
And we were obviously talking about sort of roles that you could have where you wouldn't have to talk. And mime would be a great one, just a street performer.
Brilliant.
Yeah, just rowing down the middle of Pretoria Avenue with Longmore.
Where are
they? Pulling rope, pulling people in. Come on.
Every time you say, have you seen an enemy? They just go like that.
Yeah.
You watch the next time everyone does civvy, there's going to be 1,000 mimes.
Mimes, yeah. I'll just follow out. I'll just follow James round and just if he's shouting at someone, I'll just stand next to him and just go.
No.
I will act James's emotions next to him.
He'll be constantly angry.
I can hear James shouting "fuck off" at you already.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And then I can just stand there and go.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, we know he's not live, so I can future hear James.
Yes.
Screaming.
I expect a text message at about 11:15.
Love you, James.
Love you, James.
Right, come on, Andy. Let's talk history.
Right, boys and girls, listen, gather round for the history of airsoft. So it was originally designed in Japan in the late 1970s. And it was introduced by a photographer called, now I'm going to butcher the hell out of this name, Ikarino Nagataka, I think is how you pronounce it, to avoid the new laws, the strict laws, the weapon control laws that they brought in just after the 70s. It was originally called Soft Air, and it used a Freon silicone-based oil mixture, which obviously then later was found out that Freon is not
a bit anti-environment.
Yeah, it's not particularly good for anyone.
Not the best idea.
And then so they moved over to what we use now, which is a propane-based silicon oil gas known as green gas. And most of the weapons that were being made during this time were considered as CO2 weapons, even though they still weren't being used as although they weren't CO2 weapons. And they were allowed to either use pellets or BBs, which is obviously what we use now. The first manufacturer was a toy car manufacturer, which was Tokyo Marui. Was the first mainstream producer, and introduced the electric motor gearbox design in 1976. So originally it was gas, and then Tokyo Marui went, no, don't like that. We like all the mod cons. So they were the first ones to make AEGs. Then they came up with, I'm going to butcher this as well. So the Japanese came up with
Just think of an English equivalent.
Yeah, survival games, which is Sababeiteruru Gimu.
I don't know if that's right or wrong, but I'm telling you that's wrong.
Sababeiteruru.
And the Ashari firearms model. Hang on, no, the Ashari firearm was a model company in Japan who operated in between the 80s and 90s, and they were the early pioneers of the hobby, which later became Tokyo Marui. This is written really badly, so apologies. Airsoft came over to, or Soft Air came over to the United Kingdom in the late 1980s, around 1988. And became popular with many companies in the 1990s. The main company called LS was the main importer for all firearm or all riffs within that time. And then from the UK, it spread across Europe and North America. By the early 1990s, it was enjoyed over 90% of the
universe.
Well, Europe. It doesn't say anything about America.
It originally they shoot each other with regular weapons, though. So Airsoft's pretty shit. Airsoft's pretty shit, really.
just on that point. I mean, I know we obviously talk about America
because I'm reading.
No. I'm not going to ask you the question. I'm hypothesizing.
Hold your finger on the air, so you don't lose your spot. Hold your finger on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I would have thought generally per capita, I would say that probably Airsoft might not be as big in the US as it is over here. Right, so when I say per capita, I mean per person, like both 100,000 people.
I know
so if you were to scale it, no, I know. For those that don't, but for per 100,000 people, I know Airsoft in the US is bigger. Like there are obviously, they've got more like capability for bigger games and stuff like that, and there's a lot of Airsoft in the US. But I would argue that maybe on the basis that they have real firearms, they probably don't have the interest per capita of Airsoft, perhaps.
So, like what you're saying, like for every 100,000 Americans to every 100,000 Britons,
yeah, there's probably more airsofters.
There are more airsofters in Britain than there are because America they've got the real stuff to go down the ranges with and shit.
But then when you look at the facts like that, there's probably more shootings.
Well, there is.
I wasn't going to go into gun laws and gun control and things like that. Like, I'm not straying out of the lane on that front. Like, I like our US audience.
That comes, but that comes with the territory, doesn't it? The right to bear arms.
No, I know, but we don't need to talk about that. All I'm talking about is airsoft.
I know, but it's not a sore point. It's just a state of fact that if people are allowed to carry weapons in a certain country, there's going to be more generic shootings, if you like, compared to a country that doesn't allow people to open carry.
I have nothing to say.
Carry. It's just a fact. It's not. I'm not taking the piss. It's just a genuine fact. It's obvious that's going to be the case.
People. Yeah, but guns don't
rappers do.
People kill people. So
yeah, with guns.
Unless you buy one of those really awful ones like someone's M249 that just randomly started shooting.
What one?
Yes.
Chris, looking at you.
Mr. Berry.
Yeah, but that's not going to kill people.
It might have done.
It would take a hell of a long time for that to kill someone.
But I mean, if you were asleep,
like you'd have to be asleep. It'd have to be like barrel have to be at your eyeball for hours.
You'd have to be
cycling
asleep,
rounds,
paralysed, and completely numb.
If you're a heavy sleeper.
The only way it could kill you in one foul swoop was if it was dropped from an aircraft onto your head, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad we cleared that up.
Yeah, there we go.
Anyway, I was just making a comment about airsoft, but sorry, Gandhi, carry on.
That's okay. Right, so this page gives you a kinetic energy calculator.
We've got one of those on our website.
No, this one actually you just type it in. So over
couldn't do it on our website.
Yeah. Basically that's the history
Great
of it. There's a bit about how within the since the year 2000 more law enforcement and militaries around the world are starting to move over to RIFs for training. I know
they won't be as good as us with them though, would they? Because we've been using them longer.
Yeah. The only downfall to them is that they're obviously like the range. They don't have an effective range, which isn't realistic. But they're over here in the UK in 2023. There was a petition by the MOD to increase the FPS limit to give them more realistic projectiles for their training exercises. This was basically, well, it says basically this was shot down due to being unable to import the firearms at a specific power. There you go.
Yeah, I mean that would make sense, really, wouldn't it? I mean, ultimately, the army and the police have the capability. There's no reason why they couldn't have souped up. I mean, you get training grounds, don't you, for just normal rifles and guns. Yeah, and like the paint ones as well.
I think that's
paint munition.
Yeah, I don't know if that is simunition or not. I don't know.
Yeah, they call it simunition, which is the paint ones.
Right.
But then you've got the ones that have got so you know the ones with the yellow blocks that they put on the end. I'm sure
that's just a blank firer.
Name.
Yeah.
That's just a blank firing. And they don't play dead with that. Whereas I think they want to start bringing in more of the not role. Well, it is a bit of role play, really, but I think they want to be able to say, right, well, you've literally just been hit. That's it. You're done.
I'd like to shoot somebody with a beanbag gun because I've seen videos of that, and that looks like it really fucking hurts.
I've seen someone been hit with a beanbag gun. Yeah. No,
I reckon that could be great fun.
I'll tell the story. I'll tell the story now because I feel this kind of it relates. But I was on my way back from France, and we were coming through Calais to get onto the ferry, and basically all of a sudden there's all these rocks being thrown over and then bonfires being lit. And what it was is where there was a migrant camp, and I'm not going to turn this into a political thing about migrants, but there was a migrant camp nearby, and this was before.
No, really do.
No, you know the camp that was right by the Calais port before that got sort of shut down and decommissioned or whatever. But basically, we were sitting there, effectively stopped in traffic, where all the vehicles up front had stopped because there's rocks and things being thrown over, smoke, fire, all sorts of stuff's kind of being lit around the motorway, and then all of a sudden there's just all of these migrants basically trying to get into all the lorries. And no word of a lie, I've probably got one. I'm sitting in my car. I've got migrants trying to get into a lorry maybe about 2-3 meters away from me, just out my window, because we were literally in line with the back of a lorry. I was just sitting there watching. They were trying to get in and gave him a little wave. He waved back. It was nice. And then, we had some McDonald's sitting in the car because we bought it to eat on the ferry to save money. So we got our McDonald's out and I'm sitting there eating. And there was nothing more ironic about the fact of the whole situation, like a microcosm of society, that I'm sitting there eating McDonald's, basically watching people try and breach into the back of these lorries. And then the French police rocked up, and no word of a lie, one French policeman chased a migrant around our car a few times. One of the French officers literally leaned on my bonnet and fired a beanbag at one of the migrants that was trying to get into the cab of the lorry in front of us, and he took him off. And then they started deploying tear gas At which point, I just shut the vents of my car.
Did you carry on eating the Maccas though?
Yeah,
carried on eating the McDonald's, and then you know the M9 M6 grenade launcher. You know the sort of solid tube one. That's what they use as the beanbag gun, and I was like, oh, I'm going to get an airsoft version of that. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
You must be able to just use a 203 cartridge, as long as it's airtight to hold the gas. Yeah. Just put a beanbag in front of it. Science experiment.
I don't know if you have enough, because it's to do with the energy transfer and stuff like that. GL06, the B&T GL06.
But if it's tight enough seal with the tube, but enough for it to still come out.
Oh yeah, no. Theoretically, you'd be able to do that. I don't know what force. I mean,
in theory, we could make a giant spud gun out of an M203.
You need a big potato, though.
Yes.
Well,
you only need a 40 mil, or something bigger than 40 mil that you could core out. So you just have like a
39.99 millimeter
sweet potato.
Tennis balls.
Sweet potato would work. Anyway, that was my story of watching someone get beanbagged. So yeah,
I still think we should be allowed to make a 50 cal using tennis balls for airsoft. So when you get hit, you know you've been hit by
or mud
by 50 cal.
So here's the thing, though, right? If you can fire a tennis ball, I don't know what speeds that they get up at Wimbledon.
Into 130, 140 miles an hour.
Yeah. So if you can theoretically fire a tennis ball at someone with a tennis racket, assuming that we're all good enough to do that at 100 miles an hour, you are right. Why can we not have a grenade launcher that does similar?
I think we should have a 50 cal that's got a hopper on the top of it that you just fill with mud, like in the film Hook, where they shoot custard at the pirates. Because mud's readily available at most airsoft fields.
Yeah, but the trouble is you get a stone in that.
Well, you filter it, wouldn't you?
Then it's filter. Yeah,
filtered mud.
With some straws, a bit of wadding, and just boom.
Lance, why are you not having?
Sorry, quickly. I had to quickly check the door of my garage, and I sat back down and didn't turn my camera back on. I was just chatting away like I was on the radio.
So here's one for you. So on events, there seems to be a more popular start off with a bit of crowd control. So obviously tear gas is illegal to own as a private person.
Got a way around that.
But
urine,
water cannons.
No, because people don't want to get wet, do they?
But now there's no limit. So if you turned up with if you bought one of the old aircraft, like one of the runway,
what a fire engine! You want a fire engine,
and you rock up and you just spray everyone, and then everyone can go back and get changed into.
No, everyone will just fuck off home because it'll be soaked. All the guns will be fucked. Your name will be dirt.
No, but it's riot control, isn't it? So if you said to people, look, there is a riot, you don't need any weapons. All you've got to do is just be a knobhead for 15 minutes, which most of us are pretty good at as standard. I definitely am. So, and then you just go, right, okay, well, I'm going to get wet and shot in the face with a really high-powered hose. Brilliant.
Sounds kinky.
Technically, a water cannon is still illegal because it's illegal to carry anything that's intended to be used as a weapon in a public place without lawful authority or reasonable excuse.
Yeah, but we could simulate a water cannon with just a standard hose pipe.
Yeah.
Yes, you could.
And set it to spray and just lightly coat people.
I mean, moving away from the absolutely drenching everyone aspect, but you mentioned that sort of tear gas and stuff isn't allowed. I mean, we've talked about this on the show before, but I do believe that like some sort of fart spray-esque ability, if you could like have a smoke grenade that the smoke proper stank of something. I mean, you obviously don't want to get it to a point where it's like covering clothes and like residual stuff's going to sit there and smell forever. But if you could come up with something that's got a decent smell, or a decent horrific smell that's got like a relatively short half-life, so it's not going to sit there and smell and perpetually smell forever, that would be quite a useful simulation for tear gas or something like that, because you don't physically have to worry about tear gas, but you could still have the whole donning of respirators and stuff like that to to avoid contact with it.
You could, but you could just say that. You can just say a
it
blue,
would be a
blue
very
smoke
handy
grenade.
way to clear a room, couldn't you?
I mean, yeah, but do you remember going back to that Vietnam milsim at APOC when we had the medical tent on the side of the stockade?
I didn't go to that one. I don't know.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
well, anyhow, there's about 9 of us in there, just waiting, doing a 15-minute regen, and someone just bopped a smoke grenade through the door, and it bounced off the wall and come into the medical tent. And literally within seconds, it was a dual vent one. Mate, we had to fucking get out because it nearly became our tomb. And I was like, yeah, that works well to clear a room. Just drop a smoke grenade in there and just let them try and find their fucking way out. Especially in the dark, it's even worse.
Yeah. But I mean, that's something like, obviously, like as we're talking about history, when I first started,
Tupperware.
The smoke, the smokes and pyros that we had when we first started were nowhere near as good as what we're getting now. No. Like the old is it TRMR that we all call tremors, but they from what I understand, they were actually boating flares or something. They weren't originally made for airsoft.
But it's like the old Enola ship Mark V cardboard tubes, isn't it? They were crap.
Well, they're still about.
And they're so still fucking bad.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
genuinely so poor. How they get sales in them is unbelievable. Their pants.
I mean, from definitely from when I started, and I think we all started roughly around the same sort of time. The pyrotechnic side of thing, and
no, I think you guys have been going longer than I have.
I think me and Mike worked out that Mike's coming up to 12 years now, aren't you?
Yeah, mine was 2013. I think we worked out as.
Yeah.
Based on when I got my first Yukara with just BB guns.
Oh yeah.
Was that your first milsim? Was the one I met you at APOC?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
See,
I've been playing Airsoft since 2013, but I don't think that milsim. I can't remember when that one was.
See, I think I'd been to probably 2 or 3 skirmishes prior to that milsim. So, yeah, I don't think I've been doing it very long. I'm trying to think now. I started there.
I'll look up the date.
The first year I started working away in Nottingham, whenever date that was, which would have been, if we've lived here for, blimey.
Quite look at the maths. You can see.
I think about 10. I think I've been doing it about 10 years, 9 years, 10 years. Yeah. Around about that time, I'm sure it is.
Yeah. So we worked out that I'm just coming up to 14 now. God, John, old man in the sport. 2000, 25 years.
25 years deep.
What do you remember, John?
You remember all?
You
all the things.
Not my first gun when I played was 94. Look at that. Good old Tony Whitmore. Hello, mate.
Always one-upping people, isn't he? Wait till I see him next.
2017 was the first milsim.
Yeah, so it'd be about 9 years then for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Blimey, 2017. Jesus Christ. Yeah, what was your first gun then, Andy?
Mine was, ironically, a Springer shotgun with a Springer pistol.
Nice.
Yeah. And then a couple of weeks after that, I bought a ICS Captain, which was a tiny little thing, which is basically a short, fat M4. Basically.
An ICS Captain.
Did you guys own BB guns as like kids or anything like that? Like,
no, I never did.
Was there any like
I had an air rifle
beach shop BB guns or anything like that?
I had an air rifle. I had a Mavic Gold air rifle, which was given to me by my uncle long time ago. That was it. I never actually had what was it? I can't remember the brand of BB gun now. It was a G10. It was a something G10. I can't remember the brand name though. My friend had one down the road from me. I was very jealous because it looked like a Beretta 92. I had that now.
I had like proper cranky old single shot BB pistol thing that like I kept shooting my sister with, no iPro, no nothing. And then they bought my sister the same one, and then we started shooting each other. And then my uncle bought me basically one that did 3 or 4 shots, and that was it. I was like running around the back garden, shooting anything in sight. Does everyone remember the cartoon that someone did a few years back, where he tells the story about how he got into airsoft for the first time, and he was like shooting lampshades and things like that.
Yeah.
When I listened, that was me. Yeah.
See, my first BB gun. So I'd have like loads of Nerf guns and things growing up. Which, fun fact, Nerf stands for non-expanding recreational foam. Little pub quiz thing there. But I had loads of Nerf guns and stuff like that because my mum and dad were always sort of quite averse to BB guns and stuff like that. Then got to uni, got paid money or given money to go to uni as like grants and student loans and stuff like that. And then in, I think it was second or third year, I was like, oh wow, look, there's just BB guns. That looks quite cool. And then for like, I don't know, 25 quid or something like that, I've bought, I think it was like a Double Eagle, full plastic, like the thing was just cack, absolute cack. But I sort of like, started making modifications rather than like remove the front sight because that was like molded on as part of the body. Just cut it off with a saw. And sort of that was how you did like modifications to it. And like I never really went airsofting with it or anything like that. It was just like shooting around in the garden and stuff. Bright orange thing. And I think the first time we ever properly fired it in full auto was at a wok that we had in the living room. So we just set the wok up as a target on the far end. With like the open face of the wok facing us, full autoed that for about a full mag, and then reaped the consequences of all the BBs basically hitting the wok and flying straight back at us. No iPro or anything like that on there, and yeah, basically we damaged the wok. That had to go in the bin because I don't know what that says about the rifle or the quality of the wok, really. But, but from there, started buying like cheap stuff, like just a Springer pistol and like an MP5 that was a little AEG. But the mag for that was actually inside the optic that went on the MP5. So it was like a little thing you slid back, you filled the BBs up in the top of that. So that was like a really crappy rifle. And then we ended up using those as a advertisement for the student TV station. Actually, we created like this little TV advertisement, which I'll link up if anyone's interested. But so you can see the rifles in that. And then a guy that just went to uni with, he went, "Oh yeah, I've got this warehouse that like this the units that you got in warehouses, like the self-container things." He said, "Oh, I'm paying for one of those every month, but I want to close it, and it's just full of my airsoft stuff. Do you want it?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm a little bit interested in airsoft stuff." And he said, "Oh, like 50 quid, and you can have the lot." Cool, okay, fine. Honest to God, this like little pile of airsoft stuff furnished me and my brother for like the first 10 years of us playing airsoft.
Brilliant.
Like there was a FN 2000 in there, had a P90. It's got the G3 SAS from Tokyo Marui that I've still got. It had an MP5. It had multiple Glocks, combat gear, like all the accessories, batteries, chargers, everything like that. So for literally 50 quid was how I got into the sport with effectively TM level weaponry. And then just rolled from there, basically.
Nicely done.
Yeah, that's not too bad. I mean, I never... Nerf wasn't really a thing when I was at that age, but I do remember getting...
I remember the Nerf bow and arrow. The blue and yellow Nerf bow and arrow.
Oh.
I had one of them when I was a kid. They were good fun. Had a Nerf dart on it like that. Fucking...
Was that Nerf, though?
Yeah, it was
you
Nerf.
could probably fire that out of a GL09.
Yeah,
GL06.
It was quite cool because you could come with like elastic on there, but you could half the length of it came as standard, but you could untie it and tie it again, so it made it even fucking tighter. So you really wound it up and you pulled it back. Mate, yeah, it used to fucking launch.
See, looking back on it now, like obviously things were a little bit different back then. Like, I'm not saying I'm old, but say 30 years ago, when I was getting into getting airsoft toys and things like that, me and my mates literally used to just go over the local woods and just run around, and shoot each other in the woods. Like, no iPro, no nothing. And you look back on it now, and obviously we tell people not to do that nowadays. But back then, it was like me and my mates literally walking across the main road.
Just accepted, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were walking along the main roads, all carrying an assortment of weapons and swords. Literally, one of us would have an M4 and a bloody broadsword.
But it's
if you didn't have a sword,
you could
for stick.
My mum and dad, they used to go for over on a Friday evening or something for dinner at their best friend's house. And I remember they always had a set of fencing swords in their garage, and they would let me play with them out the front in the street. But what my dad's friend would do first would put a tennis ball on the end and duct tape it to the end of the fencing sword.
Nice.
And we're just out there beating the hell out of each other with these fences. It's unbelievable. Could you imagine that now?
I mean, you got a tennis ball.
That's it. Safety first.
That was the start of it.
Going to go out in public with swords, you put a tennis ball on the end of it, then you're all right.
See, I have a little theory about this, which I think there was obviously knife crime and gun crime and everything like that, and I think there was a lot of problems and stuff. I mean, back when we were growing up, I mean, I remember, for example, my mum telling recent stories about an IRA bombing of one of the pubs near where I lived, because it was near Maidstone Barracks. So there was obviously lots of stuff going on, but I think the internet has been part of the justification of that, because I think it's just constantly made people more vigilant and more scared, and I think it's given access for people to things that they wouldn't have otherwise had.
Exactly.
I mean, when I started buying BB guns was when Amazon was kicking off and stuff like that. It was the ability that I could just sit there on a computer and order something, and it would just fly through the post in the next couple of days.
Mm-hmm. It's because it's convenient.
Because when we were kids, it didn't have that.
No.
If you wanted to buy a BB gun, you had to go and get it. Yeah.
But I never had BB guns when I was a kid. We used to make our own bows and arrows over the woods and stuff, and sharp.
Yeah, but I think people were less scared.
Shoot each other with that.
I think there was less. There was less you see someone with a funny shape thing in their pocket or something like that. It was more you've got something funny in your pocket, rather than he might have a knife or.
But as kids, we used to go out with
that.
There were plastic pistols and machine guns that made the noise and had the little red glass on the side that used to spark when you fired it.
Yeah.
And it was just the thing. As I was just a few kids playing soldiers over the woods, which is what we used to do.
The old red caps.
Yeah, either a circle of 8 shots or the which are being used in flash grenades now, aren't they? Well, they started using them again. Cap guns were brilliant, man. I used to love a cap gun.
I love the smell. The smell always takes me back.
I used to have an old cowboy revolver.
Yes.
Like a Peacemaker or whatever it be, and you used to have it was a paper cap. It was a roll. You had about 60 shots on it.
Oh yeah.
You used to roll that up and put it in, and then as you shot them, the paper caps used to come out the top of the gun and just coil around your arm.
And you always try to double them up, and it never works.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Oh, memories.
My brother and I used to play toy soldier around our house, in the garden and stuff like that. We'd have cap guns and things like that, and I can remember going to school dressed in my combat gear, because it was a fancy dress thing, and I was I'm going to go as a soldier. So I can remember going to school with effectively a toy gun that looks pretty real. Whereas I don't think you would have that nowadays. I think there's too much. I mean, the Violent Crime Reduction Act is what stopped shops, Poundland and things like that. The shop in the UK that you could used to be able
shops
to buy
now steer away from selling guns. And
you can't sell a realistic imitation a
cap gun or anything
that looks like a gun. You can't sell. It's got to have a big orange tip, and for the most part, now it has to comply with the whole 50% of bright colour or something like that.
Because there used to be a toy shop in East Grinstead where I used to go all the time as a kid, and it was called Gamley's Toy Shop, not Hamley's. It was Gamley's, and upstairs was all the cool toys and stuff. You had the baby stuff downstairs, and you go upstairs, you had Hornby Railway, Skate Electrics, and Lego, and then you had the big shelving unit, which was just all cap guns. In little cardboard boxes, little foam inlays with a cap gun in there. And, oh my god, I used to spend hours in there. hours and hours in this shop looking at these cap guns, loving it. But you can't do that now. Can't be a kid now. Got to stay indoors, play Fortnite.
Yeah, but then you say that, like, we had a little convenience store. That's what I'm going to call it.
Yeah.
And round the back, literally had like toy guns, air rifles, and you could literally walk in there, buy an air rifle and a knife, which is like about 15, like, and literally just go, yeah, I've got an air rifle and a knife for like.
See, even that's gone now. Like the days of carrying a little penknife sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? As a kid, I always had a little penknife or a little lamb's foot folding knife. Purely going over the woods, you used to cut some branches, like I say, make your bow and arrows and stuff. But now it's just, it's been tarnished. It's been dirtied. That whole old school way of like kids growing up, out with your penknife and your catapult in your back pocket, going over the woods and stuff like that. It's almost like it doesn't happen anymore because it can't, which is a bit of a shame, really. It's interpreted wrong now, which is crap. But there we go. Such is life.
Then again, people can't be trusted now.
But it's like now, it's like my son or my daughter sort of thing. I always, but when they were a lot younger, they're not so much into it now. But we used to go over the woods and we have a cook up and that, and they'd do some whittling with a pen knife and stuff. And we're buying them their first Swiss Army pen knife, which was like a curved end to it. It looked like a spoon at the end, but it had the sharp blade on it still. But it was like you weren't able to stab or anything. You could still cut yourself. Like teaching them that sort of stuff now. But I don't know, now that my son's older and he wanted a pen knife, I'd be a bit more dubious about letting him have one because of the influence that's out there and what they've got access to seeing and stuff like that now. And I wouldn't feel comfortable with knowing the fact that he owns one. Not that I wouldn't trust him, I would trust him, but I wouldn't trust other people's interpretation of, oh, why have you got that? You shouldn't have that. You know what I mean? Code red, call the police. There's a someone with a knife. It wouldn't be there's a 12, 13-year-old boy with a pen knife over the woods whittling some sticks. There's a person with a knife, and that's it. Then it's code red, and I think that's the problem. That's the trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's you've got to kind of gauge the situation a little bit, and I think unfortunately people nowadays, because Kilo 42, because there is so much knife crime and stuff like that's happening. I mean, I don't know if knife crime, I don't have the statistics, but whether knife crime has gone up since we were kids,
it has
amongst kids or something like that. But I do think that the internet is a big part of that. I think the internet both reports those things more, so people are more aware. We're all more connected. For example, I'm more aware of what's happening in Scotland's news now than I was, 10, 15 years ago. And that's not because I didn't read the news or anything like that. It's just because my daily dose of news was whatever was on the BBC at the time that my parents watched.
Yeah, but you think about that, Mike. You saying that then, if someone was stabbed in London or Manchester or wherever it is, a town or city in the UK, that would make the news back then. It's just the fact that now.
Yeah, but I think there's more of it now. I think you get the US
it has increased
news,
because it has increased.
You've got everything that you go onto the Metro or MSN Today or the Sun or wherever you get your news. Basically, you're not just getting a local news area or even just national. You're getting stuff from across the pond. Like you hear the news happening in the US or in France or wherever. So I think there's more awareness of that, and I do think that it's that the ability of people to buy stuff online gives that anonymity. Which means that you have got access to things that you wouldn't otherwise had access to. eBay was still an emerging thing at the time.
And obviously access to criminality online as well.
Yeah.
Which is opening that doorway.
Whereas I think nowadays things are starting to curtail that.
Which is a staggering statistic. Each day so far for 2025, there has been 282 knife crime instances within the UK. That's every day since the beginning of this year. So each day there's 282 on average.
But is that just finding people with a knife?
That's carrying.
Is that class as knife crime?
Yeah, that just says it just says knife.
But it's not. It's not 250 people getting stabbed a day.
No, it's not. No.
But yeah, ultimately, I was gonna change the subject slightly into a slightly more positive note. But what was everyone's first airsoft site?
Well, my first site was Apocalypse. Unless you want to include the yard I was sort of working in when I first got my first ever airsoft gun, which I was very, very excited about.
Shall we say
it's
legal?
Yeah, no, like a proper site, like a venue for airsoft. So not just like, you know, you went into your bathroom and shot yourself in the foot. Like, you know, a proper game zone.
Apocalypse in Sittingbourne.
Yep, mine was
the Holy Land.
So a site called Cottenham surprisingly, Cottenham.
How original.
Run by Rift Airsoft was my first game.
There you go.
You've
been there ever since.
No, because it's closed down now. I did 3 games there, and then they closed the site down.
Oh,
I'm not sure if that was me.
That's your fault.
Yeah, my fault. It was yours.
Mine was a site actually owned by Just BB Guns.
It was the
little thing that they had above that. Like, it was like the first floor of like a warehouse type thing, and it was almost like a
weird, wasn't it?
Someone had converted to airsoft, which was very tiny. But then for me, it evolved to Ambush Adventures in Aldershot. So we were playing at the depot there before, and went on to the barracks, and then Bush Valley was another one as well. So Bush Valley Airsoft in Kent. I don't know if you guys ever got a chance to play there.
No, I heard about it, but I didn't play there.
There's a little family-owned site, sort of south of where I live now, basically. So yeah, no, there's some good little sites, and then Apocalypse sort of eventually got onto that. Start doing milsim.
Yeah, I think I did like 3 or 4 skirmishes and then got straight into milsim, or over like weekend events sort of thing, shall I say, which was just epic. You know, I couldn't believe when Big John was first telling me, he's like, you should come up here and do a milsim. I was like, what's a milsim? What is that? And she went through it. I was like, that sounds amazing. So excited.
I've got to admit, I didn't do, because obviously I as many of our longer term listeners know, I did reenacting for 10 years before I started airsoft. So when I left reenacting, I kind of was just like, I just want to shoot stuff. I just want to, and then Rift did a battle sim sort of scenario, and I was like, this is sexual. And that was it.
Mad, isn't it?
That was me done. Like literally camping out, shooting people at night, sneaking rounds. Night vision wasn't such a big thing when I started mil sims. Like there was few and far between people that had.
There was none when that first event. First few events I did, there was no one had night vision.
It was all white light and things like that.
Yeah.
And then literally after that, it's just snowballed from there. And I was like, milsims are it for me. Have you ever been
that excited again though since doing that first ever? Because I was literally had no sleep. I remember me and Dan driving down to Apocalypse on I think it was early Saturday morning for our first event where I first met Mike and David and that, and just being like, it was like Christmas morning for an adult. That's the feeling. That's as close a description I can give you. It's like as a kid waking up Christmas morning and running into like your parents' room or into the lounge or whatever it is to see what's been left, or whether his mince pie has been eaten and that. But that's like the gauge of the excitement I had. But do you think you've had that since at other events, or is it like that? Like for a drug, it's that first drug. That first time.
I want to jump in here because I have noticed with groups that I'm in, when people book onto things, gone are the days of, oh yeah, right, cool, right, let's just plan for everything and then we'll just deal with whatever comes up. And it's more like, oh right, I've got to consider, oh, there's no beds here. Oh right, I'm gonna have to deal with a bed and stuff like that. It's like just plan to, like, they told you some information. You've got more information than you would have done like the first event you've ever gone to. Like, just plan around that and then just enjoy it. Like, go out with the excitement and like you're working as a team. You're gonna like deal with it as it comes and kind of enjoy that adaptation or the adapting to that situation. Whereas it seems to be on a few threads and bits and pieces like that, it's almost like people are like, oh right, okay, I want to know exactly what I'm doing, like to the minute, and then if it deviates from that, oh, it's not quite what I expected and stuff. And I think sometimes
that sucks
you lose that
excitement?
excitement. It does. I think it does.
That's what I find now as well with like sorting things out. I'm really, really looking forward to this weekend's coming event, if you like, with JBG. But I haven't got that feeling that I first had of going to my first event, and I'm guessing that some of that gets taken away or diluted because the more you do it, the more you sort of know and you're prepared for, which is great. But there isn't so much of the unknowing. Than your first ever event. Do you know what I mean?
It occasionally happens, like the first time I went to do one of the JBG events because it was something that I've never done before.
Yeah, that was a lot. Yeah, that's more recently was our first training day when I'd done my leg in.
I was buzzing. I was like, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to be a stone cold fucking killer by the end of this.
Yeah.
But then me and Lance were both walking
and
away.
then the truth set in.
Turned out I was just stone cold.
Yeah. I'm just a fat operator, basically. So,
and I was just sat there in the foyer with my leg up on a stool, just like having Alex or Jack, shall I say, rubbing ice into my leg, which was very nice.
But then obviously, like, there's things like when we get to do, like, obviously opening Blackstone CQB for me, that was one of the most exciting yet also terrifying experiences of my life.
That was because it was your baby, though, wasn't it? Like,
well, yeah,
you put your heart and soul into doing that.
But then it also gives you that same sort of experience. Like, I'm sure I didn't have much dealing with the planning side of things, but I'm sure you and Lance were excited yet like nervous about Op Phoenix. Because that was the first sort of event that you guys had done.
I loved that. I genuinely loved that.
Did that not give you guys that sort of
the good nerves?
Feeling?
It did. It did for me very much so.
I think for me, I didn't get the same enjoyment out of it as if I was a player. Like if I was a player, I think I would have enjoyed it more because we tried to run that event on the basis of. That's what we wanted to attend an event of. Do you know what I mean? Like it wasn't. We weren't making that event for us to play per se. We were making that event for other people based on what we would have liked to have played. So it would have been more fun, I think, to actually play that event. But I know what you mean. But I think just going back to the JBG event this weekend, I think for me, I like to be prepared for the things I know that I might have to do. So, for example, Airsoft is not a direct one-to-one scale replica of being in the actual military. Now, we all know that, and if you think it is, then you're lying to yourself. But things like, we've heard some of the stories about potentially, we might be getting you to do this, we might be getting you to do that. All I want to know is kind of what level to prep for, if that makes sense. Because if I'm going wild camping, I've been wild camping before. It can be a whole new scenario, terrain, everything like that. But I know what kit I've got to take to make sure that I know I'm prepared. So I like to make sure I'm prepared for what I need to do, so that if I don't know, say we went to an event and they went, right, there's going to be a river crossing. Well, you don't really do a lot of river crossings at most events, do you? So, for the most part, we don't need to pack to deal with river crossings. I know that the kit's slightly stuff that we probably would have on a 48 hour, for example. If you're going to go to an Octo event that you know is an 8-hour game, you're not going to be packing in the same way that you would for a 48-hour milsim. And that's all I like to know is just what scale of event am I attending?
So that being said then, do you think that over the last sort of like 3 or 4 years, sort of post-COVID, that events, when they're advertised, do you think that too much is being told to people or too much information is being given out? And it's causing people to sort of like absorb loads and loads and think, right, well, I'm going to need that, I'm going to need that, I'm going to need that. So hypothetically, what if there was an event that you arrived on, let's say you arrived on the Friday at 3 p.m. That's when the gates open to the event. And the event could start any time between you arriving and, let's say, 8 a.m. the Saturday morning. So you turn up to the event, going about your business, and all of a sudden there's a fucking roll. You're stood to, and we're going. You don't really know what you're doing, but you're turning up. But you're turning up to an event as it could be a force on force event. you're being deployed to this AO. You'll know more when you get there. You know, what you pack then is down to you. You know, none of this, you know, oh, you're going to be doing, it's a CQB based event, it's this, it's that, it's the other, do you know what I mean? You're going to have to be, you can carry plate case. You just pack what you would take, and that's it. What you feel comfortable taking. If you've not got it, then you've not got it.
But that's the thing. If you know it's that sort of event, you can plan for
that's
that.
What I'm saying, though.
You would,
yeah.
you would pack differently because you're anticipating more scenarios. So at that point, you are thinking, right, I'm probably... For example, if we go to a woodland event and we know that we're camping in the private site at the thing, Andy's going to bring a hammock. I'll probably bring a hammock. If we're just packing,
but this is what I'm trying to say. Is
no, but that's what I'm saying because you know you don't know
information.
No, but because you don't know, so because you're being told, you know, just pack for an event. You're not being told you're effectively deploying or whatever like that within the airsoft sense for a mil sim. You can pack for that.
Yeah, but all right, okay.
Because you wouldn't prepare to fail, if you see what I mean. Whereas if you're told there's going to be toilets there, probably not going to pack my shit kit. If you're being told,
I'd pack mine
if you're being told that you're staying in bunkhouses and stuff like that, I'm not going to take a tent. I'm not going to take, half the bed stuff.
See, this is what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm saying. So, like, if you hark back to your first ever thing, when we went to the Mill Sim at Apocalypse and we signed on the dotted line, said, yeah, we're going to attend this, great. We didn't know what to expect. And I think because we've done it so much now, we know what's coming, we know, and that's what's... But having that removed from the scenario again, do you think that might take you back to going...
Oh, yeah, God. I mean, that would be like Mac Alpha with Defiant. Because that was exactly that.
You know that you're in a woodland. Like you
get minimal. Like Andy hit the nail on the head there. Yeah. Right. So okay. Right. I know the event is going to be in woodland. Okay. I can square an awful lot of my kit away now, on the basis of knowing that I am going to be in woodland for 24, 48 hours.
Yeah.
You know, if there is a few buildings in that woodland or nearby that woodland, I'll deal with it.
You could make use of those, and then you could camp in the buildings, albeit you're just on the floor with your.
Basing it on the premise that the AO is mainly woodland, then you can sort of square pretty much all of your kit. In fact, I could say you can pack. If all I was given, say you're going to be attending an event which is going to be 24, 36 hours long, and it's going to be based in woodland, I could pack accordingly. All I want to know is, right, okay, it's the AO's woodland.
But that's already building excitement as well.
You're on a Blue 4 team. We'll see you there at 0600 Friday morning or 0600 Saturday morning. And you, I mean, fucking hell. That's all the information you're going to give me. Yep, that's it. That's all you get.
Yeah. I think I'd enjoy that.
That's maybe go thingy now.
You say that. When we ran Op Phoenix, we did some similar to that. So we told people there's no uniform rules, just wear what you would find on, this. We gave them you're camping in the woods, but if you want to bring heavy kit, if you want to bring light kit, it's entirely up to you. And then we threw people into a scenario where they were trekking around, they were silent ops and stuff like that. So, there is a case of that, but you look at how many messages that we receive from people, and James is in the chat, and I know James can testify to the level of sort of dealing with airsofters that you have to, because people don't like that. People like a rigid plan. They like to know, and it's almost, I think that sucks the enjoyment out for certain people.
This is what I'm trying to say.
I think for us, that would be exciting, but for other people, probably not. Probably that's too terrifying. There's a certain person I know who likes to go to an event and have an idea before they go to the event where they're going to shit, right? Because they have to build themselves up for it. It's just their personality. Okay. That's how, it's something that they worry about. So obviously they're not going to enjoy not being told there's a toilet or something like that, because that's going to stress them out,
Well, I mean, yeah, but that's like almost a health and safety type thing, isn't it? I'm sure there'd be a broad rule set to say, there are toilets on site, there is running water on site. I mean, there's a good chance you're going to know the features that are on the site when you know what site it is you're going to be going to for an event. Say Defiant advertised an event at Longmoor. You know, right? Okay, I know there's toilets there. I know there's that there, and there's a standpipe for water there. Blah blah blah. Do you know what I mean? That information is readily available. What I'm saying is keeping the actual mission brief to an actual minimum you don't need to know. The people who need to know. You don't need to know until it happens, and then you'll know.
Yeah.
I think that would really test an awful lot of people who are not only not veterans of milsim, but long-standing, participants, regular players of milsim or operations, or whatever you want to call the event style. And with the new people coming in, then you'd expect that help to be passed down. Do you know what I mean? Personally for me, I mean that for me would really fucking gauge the excitement.
Yeah. No,
if James just slapped out a big banner on one of the socials just saying "Op Suzuki Bandit," for example, on this date at this location.
He wouldn't call it Suzuki Bandit because I can pronounce that. James only makes events that I can't pronounce. James is just saying in the chat that he does still get excited and can't sleep before events, but maybe he's just confusing excitement for stress. But the number one question he gets is, what's the sleep situation? I mean, that's the thing, because in all honesty, with a 48-hour event, people like... You don't want to turn up somewhere, pay for the event, and then just be dealing with shit sleep, because ultimately, if you have got shit sleep, it's going to ruin it. It ruins everything. If you go camping and you get a shit night's sleep, you're miserable when you're camping. At least if you've got a decent night's sleep and then it rains, but you're not tired when you're dealing with the rain, you're just wet. Do you know what I mean? Well, when you're wet and tired, I think is the biggest killer for motivation and your enthusiasm and fun.
But if you're going somewhere, like for me, I think it would be it would be quite exciting for an organizer to turn around and say, right, it's a wood block. What you like? I'm not going to tell you what the
what you do with that information is up to you now.
Yeah. Oh, it's a built-up area where you may have access to buildings, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, you can do it in the briefing document, can't you? Because you can just explain what the AO is. You can say, right, it's a mixture of woodland and urban site.
You don't need to say to them, oh, yeah, bring your cot beds. You'll be able to drive right up to the door and unload all your gear. You just say, right, you pack what you want to pack. If it's wrong, it's wrong. Right? Sorry. And for me, I'd be like, right, I've got to think now. Where's my NoFo packing sheet?
Oh, Machiavellian Echo, June 2025. Hey? Does he mean 26, surely?
I think it might be 2026.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he says between now and April 2025. I think that's June 2026. Between now and April 2026, James is going to drop Machiavellian out Echo. Location.
I disagree. Landnav disagrees. Hot Phoenix, we had barely any sleep, and the stress made it much better.
All right.
That's the kind of answer we like to hear.
That's because you were up all night screaming like lunatics. So
no, not Landnav. Landnav wasn't. Landnav was out on he was Crusaders. It was the Civ. It was Civ Pop that were the screamers, the howlers.
That would be amazing, like James just said.
Because that scared out guys as well.
That would be cool. I think it's definitely achievable.
I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea. I think that would be a good event. I think it would be. I think if we're talking of milsim, which is obviously the fundamental point of this channel, if you're trying to make an event more sim, then ultimately making it so that you just have to have your shit squared away for whatever the AO throws at you.
Yeah, I mean, because that would. I mean, I'm just guessing here, but as a regular sort of like private soldier, if you get sort of stood to or I don't know what the terminology is for it now, but you'll be.
You get your orders, don't you? You get
you're on standby to move or something like that. It's literally pack your shit. We're off. The people that need to know other details will know those details. You'll be briefed on site, ready to go. I mean, fucking hell, man. You'd actually be paying attention in a briefing, because you're not going to be sitting there from having months and months of reams and reams of information, and this is happening, and this guy is the leader of that guy, and he's got 4 guys that follow him, and they call him this, and there's another guy down the road who gets called that, and he wears this jacket because he's a twat.
There's obviously going to be obvious things that the organisers will need to pass on, like radio channels, stuff that needs to be. But I mean
that's in your briefing pack, isn't it?
No, I don't think it should be. I think you should be doing it there.
But your radio,
because a lot of just can't do it there.
I think your team leader will be
radio
given
channels in advance.
No, hear me out. I don't think you should have it. I don't think you should have that. I think you should get that given that on site. So your pre-deployment stuff when you're at the event. So just to hear me out, right? So you get your briefing pack with all this information, blah blah, backstories, fucking where people are, who's this, what's that, all this information, boom boom boom, rules, la 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 la, and then you get to the site, then you go through a briefing which covers most of that anyhow. And people are switching off. And fucking, oh, come on, get this fucking briefing out of the way. But if you don't know that information prior to that event and you turn up there, you're going to be switched on because of briefing because you're going to need to know it.
I'm not saying. Yeah, I agree with that. But programming radios, especially like some of the new radios that are coming out, it's so much easier to plug into your laptop, plug into your computer, get all your channels wiped off, get your channels pre-programmed.
To be fair,
it doesn't take long, mate, with both. It doesn't take long. A couple of minutes and you're done.
Yeah.
And it's a good way if you've got a new player. No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So if you've got a new guy there who's got a brand new radio out the box, it's fully charged up, ready to go. If after you've had your briefing, you're put in your section, you've got your team leader there who's an experienced milsimmer. Right, lads, muster in on me. Right, we're going to program our radios. This is the channel for our team comms. This is the channel for 0 in an emergency. So we've all got it on here. Right, this is how we do it. Everyone watching, blah, blah, blah. Press menu, go to option 1, blah, blah, blah. You're going to put it to this. Confirm, blah, blah, blah. Confirm. Everyone's done it together. It's doing that togetherness as a team, which is breaking down all the barriers of people being nervous. It's their first event. It's like you're getting, you'll have to get involved. I think it's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, I think there's probably a middle ground between sort of the two ends of the spectrum a little bit. But let's bring it back around to the history side of things because I'm just conscious of time. And we were going to talk about some of our first events and the like, just because future events and stuff like that is a cool and cracking topic, but not for tonight's show.
Okay. So here's one. What was your first loadout? Like what your first game? What did you rock up wearing?
G3 SAS, black top, woodland DPM bottoms, brown boots. Because I saw a video on YouTube of a team. It was like a zombie film where that was the loadout for like the kill team, where like that black top, woodland DPM, and it just looks cool. Oh, Face Pro. I think I had a full ear mesh thing that covered right the way around. My brother had a neoprene sleeve, and there's a cracking photo on my Instagram where he's wearing it, and his ears come out because the neoprene sleeve comes up like almost like a V shape from his chin. So he looks like his ears are like proper pointy. I'll see if I can find it quick and bring it up because it was quite funny. How about you, Andy?
So mine was a set of Viper trousers, a Viper hood, like a Viper hoodie, a neoprene face mark with a skull on it because classic. A Viper real crap it like it was when Viper were crap. Like obviously they've got a lot better, but when I first started, Viper were crap, and it was like a green plate carrier sort of thing, but wasn't really a plate carrier. It was just basically a loose bit of fabric with some pockets in it. And my iPro, I was wearing the biggest set of goggles you could find because obviously I had my glasses on. Steamed up constantly, couldn't see anything. Kept having to stop, kept having to walk back, but loved every minute of it. And sweated like hell because it was like midsummer. And that's all I remember. Lance?
Oh, Christ. Weapons-wise, I had an Umarex MP5A3. I had a black and orange gas blowback pistol. I don't know who it was made by. Kit-wise, I had Viper multicam trousers. I had a Viper multicam hoodie. I did have a lightweight sort of soft shell jacket over the top, which I think was just like a Mickey Mouse one. It weren't expensive. And I had a Osprey, MTP Osprey body armor set up. No shooter's belt or nothing back then. Everything was mounted on the fucking armor. Little boonie hat. I can't remember what glasses I had. I think I just had a pair of like Bolly safety glasses. I don't even think they were fucking Airsoft glasses, if I'm honest, back then. If I'm brutally honest with you, I know they were Bolly safety glasses. But then I did have the big, huge skull, and it was and the camouflage, and it was Mandrake, I think it was, with like the still wide eyes. But it was like a full face, fucking like Punisher skull type fucking shield thing I bought for a while. Then I bought a Predator mask and wore that once, and it was awful. Yeah, and like I said, I did like 3 or 4 skirmishes, and then I found Milsim, and that's just it. Then I went down the rabbit hole, and all the kit changed within like the first 6 months of going to events and stuff, you know, which was crazy. Yeah, just trying to think back of like all the bags and that I've gone through, and trying to find that one bit of kit and the sleep setups and
obviously now, like obviously we've done then when we first started. Like, what's your, like, I know it changes event to event, but you must have sort of like a standard sort of go-to setup that you would run.
It's right there.
Yeah. How much? How much?
It's there.
Yeah. How much has that changed?
Oh, that was my first day of Airsoft. There you go.
Oh wow.
Fair play. Look at him. Sprig of a lad.
So cheeky. You look rather cute there. Like, I just want to.
You look about 10 there. Not gonna lie.
Well, that's proper loadout, I'd say.
Yeah.
Like before that, it was like tracky bottoms and like t-shirts.
So obviously for us, we've moved on from like. I'm not going to say. I am going to say cheap equipment because nowadays Viper isn't cheap, but back then Viper, 8 fields, was it 8 fields or the other one? They were always deemed as quite a cheap loadout. So we've moved from cheap over to say more on the expensive side of things, some of the more realistic side of things. So for your standard kit now, how much has that changed in regards to what you wore your first game?
Oh, I guess there's no comparison.
But I mean,
literally,
I think mine might be a more interesting answer than no comparison. I mean, my trousers, for example, so I wear Helicon Tex trousers. I think my trousers at the time were something I found down the market, so they were cheap to more expensive. But the tops I don't wear like Cry tops or anything like that. I mean, Lance, I know you generally tend to wear surplus tops.
Yeah, I haven't got any Cry stuff. Well, I have got some Cry stuff, but
has that really changed?
No, I'd always wear surplus kit. I don't think it's fucking for the amount of times a year I wear it. It doesn't warrant me spending £400 on a pair of Cry trousers. You know, that's just my personal.
Andy, I know you've got fancy trousers, don't you?
Oh well, yeah, I got because
Mr. Fancy Pants over there.
no one made Fat Man tiger stripes, so I had to get custom ones from Roman, or whatever his name is over in Ukraine. So yeah, they cost me a little bit more. I really like the style of everyone knows I'm a bit of a kit whore now. I've gone from Viper up to like Arctis.
Agilite just bill you, don't they, monthly now?
Yeah, basically, and they just send me some stuff. So for me, yeah, personally, I think I started off with the very, very budget end of things. And I think, like, with me personally, my size and my weight has steered me towards more of the higher end stuff because it lasts a bit longer for me, especially with a bit of the old chub rub between the thighs. I do think it lasts a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
that steered me as well.
I think the major advice that I generally tend to give newer players is don't go out and just buy stuff.
There you go.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah, you went for it.
There they are. I don't know where they are now, if I'm honest. But no, I just want to retract my previous statement of like massively changed. I mean, I'm just looking back through some of my pictures because obviously you might pull that one up and. It's all just DPM really, and it doesn't look like a new player's sort of kit. Do you know what I mean? I'm guessing that's because it's surplus and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean,
surplus is quite a quick way to look.
I don't think.
I mean, if we use the term alley for like the most milsim operator, milsim as milsim can be. I think if you start with surplus kit, then generally you're going to be closer than if you started with, say, brand new, like UK Tactical, for example. So you went out.
There you go. I know it's black and white, but that's
Tactical.
That's 2017.
Yeah,
and it's not really changed. It's not really changed much, really, like look wise. No. I mean, obviously the kit, and you refine stuff, but I mean, looking back, it's not a huge change there, really.
Yeah, I mean,
I think you go through that phase of when you first start out, like the first couple of years of trying to have as many different loadouts as you can. I know I did. Of like, I need a PMC loadout. I need an Op4 loadout. I need a NATO loadout. I need this. I need a sniper loadout. I need this loadout. I need that loadout. You got like 5 or 6, and I've got to get bags for all those. I've got to get different boots, and I've got to get different. You know what I mean? You get all that stuff, and then you sort of like fall into you sort of realise then like, well, no, because I can sort of utilise that there and this here, and sort of combine these two things, and I don't really need all this stuff that I thought I did need. So I learned that lesson the hard, expensive way. There's my first ever airsoft rifle.
I mean, for me, like I've reduced my amount of kit that I wear. Like before, I used to have. I used to go, right, well, I'm running an AG, but yet I still need 6 mags.
Yeah.
And then I've got a spare one in my back. And then I've got a backpack on. And then I've got 2 pouches, one for smoke, one for bangs. Then I've got more crap on my belt. Like my belt weighs so much, I had to have suspenders to keep it up.
I know that feeling, man.
And then you go, well, okay, at that point, I might as well like just be walking around with a trolley attached to me. So I've definitely reduced the amount of kit that I say that I still carry like 6 mags, but now they're MWS. Beep, 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 beep.
First ever Longmore loadout, March 24th, 2018.
Beep, 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 MWS, beep, 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 beep. Sorry, you threw me.
Yeah. So I definitely think my how I wear my kit has changed massively, because you just learn that you don't need all of that stuff.
I mean, there's things that will grow and adapt with you anyway. I mean, for me, for example, I like having all the flexibility of stuff because, I mean, when we're talking events, I like the putting together a loadout. So whilst I've got like a core MTP plate carrier set up, I've got a Woodland like an OD plate carrier set up. I can dip in and like throw together like from my box of schmags. I can have a whole different array of colours straight away. So I like that capability. But I think for me, price wise, that I say what the point I was trying to make is that if you're starting out in airsoft, don't go out and buy everything from day dot. Go down the route of getting hold of stuff that you can use cheap, and then run with that for a little bit, and then sort of if you see stuff that you like, go and ask people about it, because firstly that encourages you to talk to people, which is good, and you'll learn more about the game and the sport. Oh, that's the old DEA event.
That's the gang that crushed everyone. There they are. Read them and weep. Sorry, I just got in a little rabbit hole of history of mine. It's quite fitting for the show.
Well, that's what the whole
But go and try stuff, and then start buying. Because I mean, for example, I bought a Condor rig. Like my first plate carrier was a Condor Century plate carrier, which was fine. I had that for years, and it was 40 quid at the time.
So,
but it eventually went. What was it now? My Warrior DCS,
Condor light gunner,
same amount of time. No stress on it. Yeah, the gunner. I think it might be the gunner actually.
The Condor light gunner, and Mr. Rapson had my OD green one off of me, which I think is still going strong now to this day. So they were good bits of kit, man. Really good bits of kit. Very comfortable.
But I mean, the quality control on it, it didn't last the number of years that I had it for. Like, you know, the buckles and things, like some of the rivets in it went a little bit rusty. And like some of the stitching on the molly kind of came undone, and the fabric sort of started to slew round and sort of tear in places and stuff like that. Whereas I say, my DCS I've had for the same number of years, if not more, and a lot less wear and tear on that. But you are talking 3 times the price. Now, had I have known that at the time, because when you're looking at stuff as a new player, all you're looking for is, right, I want to achieve that look realistically on the cheapest budget I can. You obviously want to maximize your bang for your buck. But had I have kind of appreciated the difference in quality by going and actually seeing some of this stuff and what other people were using and stuff like that, you know, I probably would have saved my 40 quid and then put that towards the DCS, and I'd have probably been at a DCS a bit quicker than I would have been otherwise. Sorry, I'm shifting around a bit this week. No. I've got a new chair, and I'm not the most comfy on it, basically.
Here's a question for you. Have you got anything in your current kit that you had in your first saute out into a milsim?
Oh, the pants.
Oh, the perished underwear.
Nope, I don't even have them. I don't even think I have the socks anymore.
You've got nothing, not one bit of, not one. It could be the smallest item that you first bought.
Gloves. I think gloves are probably the. I did replace them because I stitched them up, and then they just weren't the same. But I do still have the gloves.
That's what I was going to say.
Where are they? Mine, or everything that I wore on that first game is gone. 100%.
These are the first pair of mechanics gloves that I bought. And I did buy some Moody plain OD green ones that look like they had the Oakley symbol on the Velcro bit, which I have still got, but I very rarely wear because I wear full fingered. But I mean, these are coming towards the end of their lives. But I don't know if mechanics gloves are as good as they were when I bought these.
No, I don't think they are.
Which is a shame because they are. I mean, there's still nothing wrong with them. I mean, the old trigger finger's got a whapping great big hole in the end of it, so I need to do a little bit of maintenance on that. But yeah, these are originals. These are 8-9 years old. But again, you see, it's how many times a year do I wear them? But that's 8-9 years worth of wear. You know, they are very, very pliable.
Are we talking? Are we talking first milsim or first game as a whole?
Well, like, you're just like your first very early days into, let's say milsim, because we are milsim based.
Okay.
You know,
I actually have a picture of my verified. I appreciate this is terrible audio.
I mean, I've still got the first basher.
First basher.
Yeah, it's still got the basher. My ever first. I still have that.
Do you know where it is yet, though?
Yeah. No, it's camouflage.
Yeah.
It's a secret. I can't tell you that.
It's a secret. It hides everywhere.
So this was the first milsim that my brother and I attended. This was where we met Lance.
So you literally don't look any different.
Yeah,
like loadout wise.
That photo.
No, well, I mean, so different eye pros. So these are Mesh Viper eye protection. So I generally tend to go for sort of shooter's glasses nowadays. I can't achieve full seal just for the fog. Like if I go full seal lens, then I might as well give up the sport because I fog up too much. But what I would say is it tends to be more the accessories on the plate carrier. So I've got rid of the plate carrier. I do have the Viper oversling still. So that's the one that kind of mounts on the back of your plate carrier, comes over your right shoulder, and then is like a bungee attachment to the rifle. Yeah. Obviously still got the Stoner rifle, and then pretty much I've patches, to be honest with you. I've obviously still kept all the patches and stuff. I do have, you'll notice just on the left there, a source control. A source hydration bungee, or the tube, sorry. So I've still got that because that was like one of the first few things that I bought that I was like, this is a cracking idea. I've seen someone else use it. I can see the advantage of this. So the little kangaroo 1 litre pouch that runs down my back, basically on that configuration. So it tends to be like bits rather than like the whole lot.
But, no, I get you.
But
my stuff's gone.
I'm a hoarder. Andy sells your stuff, don't you? You obviously clear out stuff you don't use to just
one
have
in, one out.
What you use. I'm very much a case of, I'll keep that for future use.
You never know.
But where do you sell stuff out of interest? Like, I mean, that seems to have changed over the years. I know we've talked about sort of airsoft as a whole, but I feel that sales of kit has changed. So where it used to be, there's a lot more forums, I think, like that. Whereas now I know the forums are kind of moved over to like WhatsApp and things like that.
Teams, like team chats. Like if I know that a team member's like after, say, for example, a decent dump pouch. I've had a dump pouch. Like I'll probably be getting rid of my Warrior one soon because I've moved over to Agilite. Surprise, surprise. So
I'm going to have to make a beep Agilite.
Yeah,
no, it'd have to be Agilite.
So for me, like I always look after my teammates first, like because I give them. I'm not going to lie. I always give them a better discount because for me, it's passing over something that I know that works to either a newish sort of player, or someone that I know is in need of a decent dump pouch. We'll just use dump pouch for example. If I don't, then I'll just take it down to a site and just have a little table out sometimes and just say this is for sale. £5, £10 or whatever. Or worst comes to worst, I'll stick it on one of the sales group, mainly our one. Just saying we've got a sales group. But yeah, I think the dynamic has changed. There's a lot more forums and stuff. But you still go to a skirmish day and there's still a table of sales that people look for bargains. And there's always, like every skirmish like that I've ever been to has always had a table of sales.
Yeah, there's a little tip actually. If you're trying to get rid of your lower end kit, so there's two options for that. One, if you're seeing a load of airsofters and you're like, you've got a bunch of stuff that you just don't want, then just take it to a site or at a game and go like, does anybody want any of this? You're more than welcome to just have it. Or if you are looking for a little bit of money for it, take it to a boot fair. Boot fair prices are, you're talking maybe sort of the 50p to a couple quid mark for stuff. And usually that you get a fair bit of interest because, kids and stuff like that will want bits of kit because they'll be the ones that, are potentially future airsofters and interested in like dressing up as like, special forces and costumes and like playing soldiers and stuff like that.
Is that still a thing now, though? Do you reckon
you can give them a right little deal? Yeah, I think it's still a thing. Maybe not quite as much.
Like going out in the woods with your pals and playing toy soldiers. At the age of 10, 11, 12, up to about 24. Well, actually, to now, I still do it.
Yeah,
but
I think it is.
Not that you go walking in. I mean, but like for me, for example, if I take my dog out for a walk to the woods, I don't see that anymore. Which is a crying shame, really, that you don't see like a gang of lads or girls, obviously, that out playing army men in the woods, making gun noises like da 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 da. Do you know what I mean? Is it just because times have changed and kids just want to play? Maybe
it's just more online. Maybe just kids get that. Maybe kids get that element of simulation through. Rather than pretend, maybe it's you are pretending, but you're running around online and actually getting some effective
rather than getting out there and getting amongst it, sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, like we've got a playground that's literally been built over in the field over the other side where we walk the dog, and in all honesty, they've spent, I think it was like $500,000 on this playground.
Okay, that's a hell of a playground.
Yeah, redoing it all and getting it all like looking nice and spark. It's a bit of a waste of money because I think I've probably seen 2 kids play on it since it's been done, and that's midsummer. Like we've had some nice weather, so when we've been out walking the dog and stuff at like after school sort of times, there's no one on it.
It's a shame, isn't it? How it's changed.
See, I have a 4-year-old that loves a playground, and they've recently done one around us. Like it's literally opened in like the last month. That they've spent a load of money on. Maybe not a couple million or whatever like that. But that was absolutely rammed when we went the other day. So, I mean, I guess it depends on what you've, like, the kids in the local area and stuff.
Oh, all of our shitheads.
But, I mean, this is why I think, genuinely, I mean, I would love to go and crew like an under 18 mil sim, if like a proper mil sim that's done for under 18, so it's almost like a cross between Scouts and Airsoft.
Yeah, well, Apocalypse run that, don't they? They've done a few of them.
But to go and like, you know, when they come up against like a scenario where they've got like characters and stuff like that to engage with, because I think that is what the core of Airsoft is about, and that's what makes it better than video games, because video games are really good. You can have that dynamic stuff. You've got, you know, you're immersed in this different world and stuff like that. So the more that you can create that in Airsoft, I think is better.
I mean, until Battlefield 6 comes out, then I'm not going anywhere for a little while. So,
but this is the thing. Like, people said to me, like, whenever I've spoken, like, new friend groups or new people I've met and that, and they say like, hobbies and this and that, so I do a fair bit of airsofting and things like that. And what's that? And the easiest way I can, and I've said it before on the show, is it's a healthier way of playing Call of Duty, where you actually are the character and you're actually running around in the woods and you're actually shooting each other with airsoft guns and this, that, and the other, rather than just vegetating in a chair in front of a screen. And that's the best way I've used to describe it. Is it's a healthier way of playing Call of Duty or Battlefield online.
But I mean, that has changed. That has also changed in the last 15 years. You know, the amount of like multiplayer games that you've got on. I mean, when I was growing up, it was. I mean, I had it secondhand, but we had Nintendo 64 on the GoldenEye and stuff like that. So multiplayer was us with a bit of cardboard down the middle, you know, to separate the screen, so you didn't screen watch, and then basically you're playing that. So you didn't have these hours and hours of vast, endless battles against, you know, a torrent of other people around the world.
Man, I did it when I was a kid. When I was going, well, I say a kid, you know, into my late teens sort of thing. You know, online gaming for me back then was Counter-Strike 1.6. You know, we had Counter-Strike, then CS Source came out, and then I fell down the rabbit hole, and I regret it to this day, although I did have some great times, was World of Warcraft. Man, I get lost in that for 18 hours at plus. Literally. Terrifying. And I know why. I mean, that's why I'm so pleased with how my boy is with his gaming and that. He likes, and it's good from my point of view, because when parents say, "Oh, you can have an hour," it's like, you're not going to achieve anything in an hour. An hour on a game is minutes. You know, if he wants to smash a 5-6 hour session out, then I don't mind it, because he counters that with an awful lot of outdoor activities. Like, he's been out of the house this morning because it's like summer holidays. He's been out since 8:30 this morning. He got back at 5:45 this evening. He's been out for a run with his mate. He's been out on his bikes. They've been swimming, doing all these different bits during the day. And I mean, he's absolutely shot to bits now. He's laying on his bed, watching a movie, just like absolutely cream crackered. Which is, I love that. I think there's someone who's had a cracking day out doing bits and staying busy. So he does counter.
It's the same for adults. Same for adults. I spend most of my week sitting there at a computer doing various bits and pieces. That's why I like airsofting. You know, I mean, I've obviously got family commitments and stuff now. I mean, that's a big change for me in terms of sort of effect of my sport, because I can't play as much. I'd love to play more.
Of course, we all would.
But family commitments come first. But I love just getting out there, and okay, you don't have to be running around like a blue ass fly from day dot. You know, I'm not a speed softer. I like taking my time. That's why I do milsim. You know, it's a little bit slower paced. You've obviously got the intervals of hard, fast paced stuff and kind of running about, getting super sweaty, and then you've got the downtime when you've been shot and bleeding out. And then the half hour out time when you go and make yourself a brew. But that's why I like airsoft. But I do think it's missed nowadays, and I think that the cost of getting into it is probably prohibitive on that front, because you compare the cost of an Xbox or a gaming PC, Andy, for you super elitist players.
Oh no, I used to be PC, mate.
He was trying to convince me the other day to get a gaming PC.
There's no better way of gaming, mate, than on a PC. I mean, I've got a PS4 here now for doing like a bit of light, but if you're well into it, a gaming PC is the way to go.
Plus, also, the point is, on this, you look crystal clear at the moment. Lance just looks like a round circle.
Oh, sorry.
But now you both look like proper crisp. Like you look proper sexy. Get a gaming PC. Stop fucking about.
But the point I'm making though is that if you spend like maybe £1,500 on a gaming PC. I mean, I know that's not high end, but that's probably enough to kind of get you onto some of the games. And you know, if it was a new Xbox, like that, I mean, that's more than enough for an Xbox and new controllers and things. £1,500 in airsoft doesn't get you an awful lot, really. I mean, if you're looking at,
you could get a considerable amount for 1,500.
No, you can. Right, hang on. I'm not saying you can't, but what I'm saying is that if you want to get the same, right, if you want to get good at airsoft and good at games, you generally just play the hours. Yeah. If we grant that you spend 50 hours on each, you're probably going to get 50 hours of experience.
Yep.
And you're going to be half decent on either side. If you're then looking at the top spec end of things, you've already spent the outlay on the games console. So you've already spent 15. Call it $1,000. I mean, $1,000, even that's a lot for an Xbox or something nowadays, but call it $1,000. You then spend $1,000 on kit for milsim. You're not getting nods for that. You can get night vision in a game. You're not getting thermal. You can get thermal in a game. Your rifle, you're probably looking at spending maybe half that. You've then got, your kit, your sustainment kit, your shelter kit, your sleep system, and all of that. You're probably not far off $1,000 all in if you're looking at just the costs for a 50-hour player experience, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
It's human beings.
It's that for me. It's the whole interaction process of it all. It's getting out there, getting in amongst it, getting some fresh air. Getting dirty, getting some vitamins, building up that immune system. I mean,
let's not forget as well. Every event that you go to, you have to pay for. Yep. So, if you call a 24-hour event, say £100 ish.
Yeah, but this is the thing. See, now we're gaming, Mike.
I'm averaging
online shooting games. Yeah, you can download the multiplayer game platform for nothing, but then you have to pay for your player pass. You have to pay for your map pass. You have to pay for this, and when they reset stuff, you pay this. You have to pay for your skins. You have to pay for that. So they end up making more money.
I never pay for skins.
No, do you know what I mean? But you're not a 12-year-old kid who's like, I need to have this.
There's extras on top of that as well.
There's always extras, mate, and it's.
But I mean, a 50-hour
fucking criminal.
If we're talking 50 hours of airsoft, what's that? Well, that's 2 24-hour events, isn't it? So I mean, that's already £200 out of your grand gone.
I don't know.
I think there is a cost restriction to it, and I think that's changed in the years. I think kit or money's gone up. You look at the economy now. Everyone hasn't got the money to do it, do they?
Like we always say, technology it gets cheaper as it gets progressed. Like TVs are cheaper now than what they used to be. You can get a 32-inch TV now for sub £100. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I remember me and my wife when we first got our flat together, we spent nearly £800 on a 32-inch TV from Curry's back in the day. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like you look back on it, you think, fucking hell, £800 that was.
Yeah, it's mental, isn't it?
But now games, they're just going up. Like my son said to me the other day, the new FIFA's coming out. It's 80 odd quid. I'm thinking, what? And it's not even anything tangible. You don't even get a case and a disc or anything like that now. It's literally you download it to your game, and there's a good chance it's going to get fucking wiped or hacked or something like that, and you're going to lose it and not going to be able to get any money back. I could do a milsim loadout. Stephen
Whitehead said I can do a milsim loadout. Sans nods for £200. So granted, you might be able to get a loadout. Now we talked about this on the show a couple of weeks ago in terms of a £200 loadout. I think you can achieve ish £200. I mean, you'd be pushing it for a decent spec rifle and stuff like that. But you're not going to get all your sustainment. You're not going to get, a half decent sleeping bag and your shelter.
You'd have to go to a boot fair and haggle like buggery to get.
Yeah. I mean, just a basher setup, you're probably talking £20 for the basher. 2 poles, you're probably setting yourself back about.
And that's if you're lucky.
It depends on a deal. Paracord and tent pegs. I don't know. Add on another like tenner for those because you don't generally tend to just get the length of paracord you need. You have to buy like 100 meters of it.
Yeah.
So you're already looking at like 50, 60 quid just for your shelter.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's right. Like I said, you'd have to haggle like buggery or get some really grade 2 stuff that you could probably perhaps repair yourself, maybe.
I'll come back to your comment at the end because it's
certainly food for thought.
Yeah. Right, I want to just talk. Jesus, we're pretty much already run out of time. All I wanted to say is obviously airsoft events. I think airsoft events have changed as well. I mean, I think the number of companies that were doing decent milsims has changed. I think you're probably finding that the sites, because APOC, for example, used to do some pretty decent 24-hour milsims. So using them as a microcosm, I know they do meal sims and sort of events now, but they generally tend to be 12-hour events, 8-hour events, say.
Yeah.
So I can't really compare what they're doing now to what they used to do. But I think there were a lot of events companies around the UK that used to do 24-hour, 32-hour, 36-hour, 48-hour events, which aren't doing them now. I'm certainly not seeing them. I don't know if other people are. But,
I remember rocking up to APOC, mate, and you've done several of them. You'd be turning up there. Sometimes we turn up there Thursday evening, camp out, and you hit the ground running Friday morning until Sunday afternoon. And that doesn't really happen now. But again, like you say, it's a lot of people have got, you get older, you get families, you got work commitments.
I don't think the events are there.
The organisers, again, the same thing. The organisers have got families, work commitments. They can only get there when they can get there. And, to suit the majority of people, a lot of events, a lot of places you can turn up there Friday evening, get your head down for a few hours, game kicks off Saturday morning, NDEX 4 p.m. Sunday as a standard.
Yeah, that was pretty much standard, wasn't it?
Yeah,
for most
it is now, really. But certainly food for thought. And on our nostalgic journey through Airsoft history.
Civilization in decline.
Yeah.
No, I mean there are obviously some good events companies around the world.
Of course there are.
I can't speak for everywhere outside the UK because I don't have experience in them. But I mean, in the UK, you've got Sterling are obviously up there. I've not attended a Sterling event, but just going off of reputation alone. Defiant, you've got Legion, who I know are gone now. But they were a good events company that has gone. So that's something that's been missed in the last however many years.
Yeah, the SEO, I've not heard much about from SEO for a good while now.
Octo events, obviously, they're still around. I mean, there were another number of other BritTac events. I don't know if they're doing any events nowadays.
No, I don't
think I've ever attended a BritTac event.
Yeah, they were all right. They were a bit battle, like 24-hour battle sims, but they were good. They were right. They were a good laugh.
Well, gentlemen, time is ticking on. Shall we clear some of these comments? And
run through those quickly. Stephen Whitehead said, my best mate had a full-size Lee Enfield cut out of a scaffold plank, and I got my gramps to copy one for me.
My dad made me my first wooden rifle down his shed, and I had a little tack nail as the iron sight at the front, an old luggage strap as the carry handle. It's quality.
John Stockman, have to backtrack a bit. A kid was puking. Sorry to hear that. We used to play Airsoft in the streets and woods until Blood Dunblane happened. So for those who don't know, there was a massacre in Dunblane.
Yeah. And there was that other one as well, wasn't there? And there was Dunblane early 90s, and there was that one in the late 80s, wasn't it? That guy went sort of a bit berserk with a couple of rifles in a little sleepy village somewhere or something. It took the police a long time to sort of track him down or whatnot. Did a few documentaries about it. I think it was a film as well, actually, a drama. Can't remember the name of the guy.
Kilo 42, first for me was a CQB site in Islington, London. Can't remember the name. Sorry, I just realised there's a few comments further back. Sarah G, because someone would use a cricket ball, that's why you can't use tennis balls in launchers.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Tony Whitmarsh, morning. My first game was 1994. Yes, I am old. I was 6.
I was 11.
Stephen Whitehead, got to start somewhere. Andy, honestly starting to think full auto was a mistake. So,
what was that relation to?
I think that was in terms of starter rifles and stuff like that.
Oh, right, yeah.
Terry G, my first gun was an air gun. Gat gun, we used to shoot each other in the street.
Brilliant. Nice. Good old Terry.
John, my first was a Spring Uzi and a TMM9, both Springers. So, Bigfoot Airsoft Ghillie Sniper, first BB gun in 99, lads holiday in Kavos, no rules out there, even off with metal BBs. Mental.
Nice. Brilliant. Nothing better than an alcohol-fueled gunfight.
With metal BBs.
Genius.
Stephen Whitehead up in Sheffield back in 2006, 2007. They had an old Steelworks and Proteus camp.
Cool.
Nice. We talked about James's already. Terry says, last time I was excited about an event was the last event NoFo did.
Oh,
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Land of Challenge. It'd be great to do the event not knowing the scenario. So your TL is briefed and needs to update the team. That would be great.
Depending who your TL is.
Yeah.
If it was me, I'd be like, off you go.
John Stockman, I remember when game days was £10 at my local site, and now he's charging £30 for a mediocre day at best. Airsoft in Scotland has went downhill, just in my opinion.
Oh, blimey.
Wow. Come down south.
I mean, to be fair, £30 for a day of Airsoft, I don't think, like, from what I've played recently, I don't think is an unreasonable cost.
No, but you don't mind it if it's a good day. If it's a shit site,
no, if it's a shit day, then yeah.
Thingy, then it's shit.
Yeah. So.
Oh, Hungerford, John. Yes, well remembered, sir.
Yeah, I think
not the Airsoft site.
No,
I think also as well.
Oh, was he thinking about the Airsoft site or the 80s?
No, I don't think he was thinking about. I think that was the
Hungerford does ring a bell. Yeah, that does ring a bell for the shooting.
I think a lot of sites are unfortunately having to put their prices up at the moment because of the wonderful government that we got in place at the moment. Taxes and everything are just increasing. So
trouble is that doesn't help the player because they're going through the same stuff, aren't they? Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, it's a vicious cycle. But obviously, if you can, as Tony Whitmarsh has always said, if you can support your local site or your local shop, please do. Don't buy stuff, like try to avoid buying stuff off Amazon because 90% of the time your local shop will have exactly the same sort of stuff.
Yeah, it might be £1 or £2 more expensive, but it will help with your local site at the end of the day. Or your local surplus store, or local
surplus
store.
Stuff. Ours is closed down, so we've lost that. The nearest one now is about an hour's drive away.
Ugh,
so that's really. It's a sad one as well. But
right on that note, we'll be back Wednesday, 8 o'clock next week. We're going to be talking about the Woodland Recce. Recon, whatever you want to call it.
Recce, obviously Recce.
Myself and Lance are attending the JBG Woodland Recce training this weekend.
Patrol.
Look how he nearly throws up in his mouth when he says Recce.
So we'll be feeding back from that. So it'll be a good laugh. Hopefully we can sort of share a few learnings and talk about how good the event was and how hopefully JBG will do another one. So which I'm anticipating we're going to talk about anyway because they always do good events.
Absolutely.
So in the meantime, if you want to get in touch with us, you can do so on our email at nofochat@hotmail.com. Our Instagram is @November_Foxtrot_NoFo, and the website is novemberfoxtrot.co.uk. You can also get in touch with us on our own individual Instagrams of @9volt Airsoft for myself, @callsign_quartermaster for Andy, @the_punished_1_ for Lance. And I apologise because I can't for the life of me remember shit off the top of my head yet. I'm still learning.
Pegasus, isn't it?
No, it's much more complicated than that.
Just search up Pegasus, you'll find him.
Yeah.
Look at last week's episode.
Yeah. So sorry, Pegasus. I did try to give you a shout out, but
Pegasus UK-09.
There's a dot in there, though, isn't there?
No, that's not what.
If you type that in, you'll find him.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Right. On that note, we will see you Wednesday, 8 o'clock next week. Have a cracking week. Do you want to do the closing words, Lance?
Can do.
That man.
We want to do it now?
Yeah, cool.
Closing words. Yeah, if you're going out this weekend, have a lovely time. Get some airsoft in. Don't be a dick. Always use a gun bag. Be respectful. And drink plenty of water.
Nice
one. On that note, we'll see you Wednesday, 8 o'clock next week. Have a cracking one. Say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, guys.
Stay NoFo.
Ciao, Bella.
Hey up, lads. Wait for me. Hey up, lads.